Hope you're well. Hope you're swell. Hope you're wavy. Hope you're gravy. Yesterday, I was talking about homeschooling, how I want to homeschool my children, and yeah, I got a comment saying that I should make sure I socialize my kids. That's a concern that pops up a lot when people talk about homeschooling is, are the kids going to be socialized and whatnot? And I'm sure there are examples of kids who were homeschooled that were not socialized properly. And yeah, that is something that you should make sure that you get right. But it's not as big of a problem as people think it is. It's not as hard to do as people think it is. I think school, particularly public school, I don't think it's the only way or even the best way to meet other children. I think people think if your kids don't go to school, how are they going to meet kids? It's like, there's plenty of ways for kids to meet other kids outside of school. And I'd say that's actually preferable. Because the school environment is just, it's so toxic for various reasons. I think that the education system is my primary issue. It's just so rigid and it encourages the wrong type of thinking. And I want to avoid that. But one of the biggest things is how it poisons sibling bonds because of the hierarchical structure. You kind of learn to disassociate from your younger siblings because you feel more important than them. You feel like they're stupid. You feel like they don't have much value to add to your life. So you move away from them. You just distance yourself from them. And you see this so much, right? Like I'm thinking like in the media, like when you watch TV shows and whatnot, we're just so used to this thing of the older brother that bullies the younger brother or the older sister that bullies the younger brother or whatever, and like they don't get along. Like the siblings never get along. And you're used to siblings fighting, seeing that image of siblings fighting and just being mean to each other. And it's kind of seen as funny and humorous, like it's just normal, so we just make fun of it. Like it's just normal. But it's like it's actually not normal. And it wasn't always this way. But the environment that we put these kids in teaches them that if you're older, if you're in a higher grade, you don't have to take your younger siblings seriously. And I saw this with my own brother. I think we used to be closer when we were younger. But when he went to high school, so much changed, and I noticed it because I was like, we used to like hang out a lot and play video games together and all these sort of things. And then over time, he just had less and less time for me. And I noticed that I was starting to be a drag for him. Like he was just like, oh my gosh, bro, leave me alone. And when I went to high school eventually, you know, you'd have these people that I'd hang out with. When I'd see him like in school, like, and I want to say hello to him, he'd be embarrassed and like, oh, leave me alone. Because he wants to be cool to his friends and hang out with his friends and all these sort of things. And it's a painful realization as a young child to realize, oh my God, this fundamental relationship I had with my brother, it's done, it's gone. Like he has his own friends now, he has his own life now, and I'm secondary. Like I'm no longer primary, I'm secondary, and these are his people now. And it's a crazy realization to come to because it's like, I remember there was a particular situation, I can't remember what it was, but like someone had made some joke about me, like one of his friends, and I expected him to defend me and like come to the rescue and whatnot. He actually laughed with them. And that was like a big betrayal to me. And I think that was the nail in the coffin. I was like, oh, this is done. This is over. It's not like we're enemies or anything, but I was like, we're not what we used to be, you know? Like he's chosen other people over me. And that realization was crazy. And I think a lot of siblings go through that where they drift. Because when you're younger, you hang out together a lot more. But then as you get older, you know, you start developing your personality and you get put in these environments, you start choosing your own friends. More often than not, you don't choose your sibling, you choose these other people and you just become distant. And that's how you see these relationships And also, like, when you have this hierarchical structure, like our school had a very strong hierarchical structure. I went to a boys' school, and discipline was a big thing, and you had to respect your elders. But it also kind of created this environment where you're not really allowed. Well, not so allowed, but it's like you're not really encouraged to be friends with people from all the grades. You almost never see that. Everyone was friends with people in the same grade. That was the norm. If you're grade 8, so you're friends with other grade 8s, and so on and so forth. You'd never see this thing of if you're grade 8, you're friends with someone in grade 10 or grade 11, or even matric, which is grade 12. You'd never see that. It just wasn't a thing. Because hierarchy, respect the hierarchy. If someone's younger than you, then you can push them around and order them around, make them do chores for you. That was a big thing in our school. Like, if you see someone, like, if you're like, for example, in grade 12, you had a lot of authority. You used to carry a lot of weight. That's how our school worked. Like, the seniors were just the big dogs, and when they walk through the corridor, everyone moves. Don't look them in the eye. Like literally, like, it was that kind of environment where it's like, oh my gosh, the seniors are here. You're scared of them. And if he wants you to go to we call it a tuck shop. A tuck shop is like the school store where you buy lunch and stuff. I don't know if y'all have that in the States. My vision of like what I've been taught by media of the States is that y'all have like free lunches and stuff in the cafeterias, but we didn't have that. We had like, it's like a kind of like a restaurant, not kind of sort of, yeah, kind of, it's basically a restaurant where you just go there and they have a bunch of meals they prepare. They have menus, so you can get burgers and sandwiches and salads and stuff, and then they also sell chips and drinks and sweets, and you pay for it. So we had a guy in our school called Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe would have his store that he ran in the school, and I think the thing I used to order from him a lot was a chicken tremazzini. Yeah, pretty mean chicken tremazzini. It was nice, or the bacon and cheese tremazzini. I think he failed the health inspection. I think they found rats in his kitchen once, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, if a grade 12 saw you just lurking around in the corridor, you're like, hey, you, go to Uncle Joe and get me something. You know, sometimes it'll be with your own money. It'll be with your money. So there's a kind of like extortion. Sometimes they wouldn't even give you money to do it, to go get them what they wanted. It's like you have to use your own money. So that was kind of the relationship we had with seniors. And that, like, you think about how that can poison your own relationship with your own sibling when you get home. It's like this person that's younger than you, you view them as like, you know, beneath you. And there's a lot of that. My situation was extreme. I don't think it's as bad in other schools, but it's still pretty much the same thing, where siblings develop this very negative relationship with each other. And it definitely affected my relationship. I saw that as soon as he went to high school. I saw the shift. He started to feel very self-important. And it just, yeah, there's just no time to hang out anymore. And it is what it is. But anyway, I think an important thing for me when I have children is to make sure that they are close to each other, that they like each other, that they are each other's best friends. Your siblings are people that will always be, because they're family, you know. They're family. Whether you like it or not, they're family. You're going to have to interact with them. They're going to be there for the rest of your life, God willing. Right? God blesses us with long life and health and all these sort of things. So it's probably best that you like these people, that you actually get along with them, and that they're your favorite people on top of all of that. So one thing that's going to be very important for me we'll get into that, the whole socialization aspect just now. I actually have a list of things that I would want to do to socialize my kids. But the primary thing I want to focus on is making sure that their sibling bonds are strong. That their siblings, your brother, your sister, these people are your favorite people. These relationships are your strongest relationships. This is important. I don't want them going outside for that. Like, I think it's important to have friends, to have a life outside of the home. It's okay. But more than anything, your relationship with your siblings should be what you rely on the most. And that's also part of the reason why I want to have lots of kids. So I said 5 minimum. It'd be amazing if I can have more than 5. It'll all depend on homegirl and how many she can physically give me, but I'll have that conversation with her. I want to marry her, like, hey, I want a lot of kids. And she has to agree to that for us to get married. I think that's a big thing for me. So I'll have that conversation with whichever girl I meet very early on, so that we don't waste each other's time. I don't want things to get intense, and I don't want us to get super into each other, and then I bring this thing up and it's a deal breaker, and then we get our hearts broken because I'm not willing to budge on this thing. I want to tell them early on. Minimum 5. How do you feel about that? And if she's just like, oh my gosh, no, like, I don't think it's gonna work, babes. I don't think it's gonna work. Just so we don't get too attached before I drop that information. Because that's gonna be a big thing for me. And part of the reason why I want many kids is because it is a big friend group. And they learn how to communicate, how to compromise, reading facial expressions, knowing how to read the room, all these sort of things. It's a big group. The more the merrier, right? And yes, there are things that, like, these large environments teach you that maybe, like, you won't learn in a home with maybe you got like 4 or 5 other siblings. Might be some things you might learn in, like, the super big environments, like in a school that has hundreds or maybe thousands of people, depending on the size of your school. But I think the fundamentals you can learn in the home if you have 5 other siblings, for example, and they're all different. They have different personalities, and you have to learn to compromise. You have to learn how to say things nicely if you want something. You have to learn how to share. You have to learn how to resolve conflicts. These are fundamental things that help you interact with people, and it'll prepare them for the real world. But there are other things I'll get into that I'll also do to socialize them. But while I'm raising them in this group, as you know, while they're being homeschooled, I'm going to teach them the importance of being close to each other. Like guys, this is the best relationship you'll ever have, and you need to make sure you maintain it. Don't let anyone or anything come between you guys. It's so important. Don't let anyone come between you people. It's so important that you nurture this relationship. You always check on each other. If your younger sibling wants to hang out, make time for them. All these sort of things. And I'm going to be paying close attention. I don't know why my mom used to do this. I really don't understand it, but she never used to like when me and my brother would be talking and having a conversation about something. Maybe it's because we'd be talking about nerdy stuff like video games or movies or whatnot, but she'd always come in and end the conversation and make us go do chores or something. She didn't like it. Like we're doing something conspiratorial, maybe she thought we're wasting time. Like we're having idle chatter or something. She's like, I need to break this up. But in reality, what we're doing is we're bonding. And this is after the whole high school thing and we became distant. Like moments like that started to feel rare to me. So it's like when we'd have those moments, it would be fun. And we'd be talking and then my mom would just come and break the whole thing up. And I never used to understand that every time I try to talk to this guy, my mom shows up and ruins. I still don't know really why. I'm not sure why. But it was very disruptive. And I want to make sure I don't do that. Like, I don't get in the way of their relationships with each other. I want to nurture the relationships. I want to encourage them to talk to each other. I want to encourage them to hang out. If I see like the younger one wants to go with the older one to the movies or something, and let's say the older kids are going together somewhere, it depends. I do think it's important for like the older ones to have time for themselves and whatnot, to do mature things. But if there are instances where they can bring them along, and it'd be great, I'll encourage them, like, bring your younger sibling along. Like, why are you leaving him here? Go together. It just teaches them to be a cohesive clique, to have a strong bond together, to be good friends. I want to avoid a situation where they start to dislike each other, where they start to, like, oh, I don't want to hang out with him or her or whatever. Like, I want to make sure that these kids get along. So that's going to be a very big focus of mine. Very big. And that's part of the reason why I homeschool. So I can pay closer attention to those bonds. And also, one of the things I worry about is like my kids falling in with the wrong crowds and picking up on negative influences and all these sort of things. So each of them will be my eyes and ears. So I'll tell them, hey, if so-and-so is doing something messed up, you need to snitch. You need to tell me so we can put an end to it and all these sort of things. Like, especially like the older ones. Like, I'll tell the oldest, like, you will be my eyes and ears and make sure that I know what's going on. And y'all just watch out for each other. So if I'm not there, you can still handle things, you can still take care of each other, you can still hold each other accountable. So that's also another benefit of having many kids as opposed to just one or two. You create this accountability structure. And I sit at the top of that hierarchy and can give the necessary direction when it's needed. But you really want to foster strong bonds between them. And you teach them how to hold each other accountable. Because that's another issue with like the school system. Your kids are away from you constantly. You don't know who they're with. You don't know who these teachers are. You don't know who their friends are. You don't know. For 12 plus years, these kids are just out of the house, doing God knows what. It's crazy to me, bro. Like, there's so many things that go down in school that parents will never know about. There's this game that this will be crazy. This will sound ridiculous to people. There's this game that used to get played called Soggy Biscuits. I don't know if you know Soggy Biscuit. I'm about to ruin your day. But it was basically a game where you put a biscuit on the floor. It's mainly boys. You'll know why. It's only boys that play this game. The girls could play the game. It's very difficult to play, though. Girls played it, but basically you put a biscuit in the middle of the floor and you stand around in a circle. I've never played this, by the way. I've met people who've played it. It was commonly known in my school and other boys' schools that guys will play this game. I never participated. Hear me. It was not my lot in life. But you stand around this biscuit in a circle and you jerk off. And the last person to bust, to ejaculate on the biscuit, has to eat the biscuit. And that was the game, Soggy Biscuit. And I'm sure many parents have never heard of this game. And obviously, as a kid, you'd never tell your parents that you're playing such games at school. And it's very easy. You can have the sweetest child. Oh, my child would never. Oh, my little boy, you'd never do such a thing. You have no idea what your kid is up to. That's, bro. These are the sort of things I'm trying to avoid. Obviously, you can't shelter your kids too much. There's just life is life, the world is the world. But you can definitely avoid certain things. Like some things are completely unnecessary. Completely. You don't. There's just something they don't need to do. And they don't need to see when they're too young. So part of homeschooling is, it's protecting them, letting them know about the world, that the world is crazy and that there's bad things out there, but also like there's just some things that they're not ready for, and you just don't need to come across that. Like there's no reason for you to know about soggy biscuit, for example, like and many other things. So fostering strong bonds, creating accountability structures, and helping them and protecting them from the more negative aspects of the school social system and the peer pressure. We need to go drink, we need to go smoke, we need to go do this, we need to go do that. And if you don't do it, you don't fit in and you get ostracized. And there's just so many things that can happen in these school environments. And so many things that can be done because you're trying to fit in. But anyway, with that being said, let's get into the ways I can socialize my children. Hold on, I just need to go greet my mom. Anyway, so there's something called homeschool co-ops. Homeschool co-ops are parent-led groups where families collaborate to provide educational and social experiences. They often include shared teaching responsibilities, group classes, field trips, and social events. So what they offer is they offer academic classes, for example, science or literature. They offer enrichment activities like art and music, and they offer social gatherings like potlucks, picnics, or showcases. Co-ops foster a sense of community for both kids and parents. So something like this, where you have these co-ops that you meet other kids, you might share some classes with them or whatnot, or you have some of these social gatherings. Even in these environments, I'd like really try and get it into my kids' heads that no matter where y'all are at, as a group of siblings, just make sure no one gets between y'all. Don't leave the younger one behind or whatnot. Oh, I forgot to mention this. It's so important for them to know what's going on in the other person's life. So if you have a younger brother or an older sister or whatever, know what's going on with them. Like you should be aware of where they are, what they're doing, what they're interested in, all these sort of things. I don't want to be like, where's your brother? And you're like, I don't know. Like, it's like, I don't want that. It's so important, guys, because I want them to, like, when I'm not, like, around, like, if I'm doing my own thing, they can take care of each other. I don't have to worry. I know that I've taught them well that they're looking after each other, especially like the older ones who are looking after the younger ones. Like I don't have to be like they're gonna neglect their duties. So no matter what what environment they're in, it's so important for them to prioritize each other. It's so important. So these are examples of like these, what are they called? These homeschool co-ops. It's given like American examples. So like this Adventurous Homeschool Association, which is in Salanti, Michigan, meets with weekly for enrichment classes like Shakespeare or Wilderness Survival plus social events. America is probably the best country in the world when it comes to homeschooling. I don't think there's a close second. There's in terms of the freedom you have to homeschool and the options available for homeschooling. America is definitely up there. I didn't know it, but South Africa is also one of the best countries in the world for homeschooling. I didn't know this. But I was looking it up yesterday, like which are the best countries for homeschooling. And South Africa was up there. So because I think about moving a lot, I think about migrating, because South Africa is where I live. And I was thinking like, I always think about migrating. But if I ever wanted to stay, that would be one reason to stay. Is like the options available for homeschooling. I just have to look into the finer details. There are some restrictions. You do have to register and whatnot, but apparently like the government enforcement is so weak that most parents don't register at all. They just homeschool their kids without letting the government know, because the government is just so bad at administration. So it's like so people just do it anyway without letting the government know. So we'll see. There's Rooted Homeschoolers in Richmond, Virginia. A small, intimate group meeting twice weekly for hikes, park days, craft clubs, and book clubs. The Treehouse Schoolhouse Book Club, a monthly book club for ages 6 to 12 with activities connecting literature, science, history, and more. Families read independently and meet to discuss and celebrate. So yeah, the benefits of these homeschool clubs: they provide structured socialization, peer interaction, and parental support. So I can meet other parents as well. That would be a cool way to meet other parents. Co-ops often align with my educational philosophy. I was telling it, this is Grok. I was telling it about how I'm Christian and all these sort of things. So there's so many co-ops you can find that, like specific co-ops you can find that align with your specific worldview and whatnot. So yeah. Then there's extracurricular clubs and activities. So there's chess clubs. I used to play chess in high school. I was okay at chess. I wasn't that great. But I know how to play, and yeah, it's a fun game. And it was a fun environment to interact with other nerds and just have fun and yeah, just socialize. So it'd be cool to enroll them in a chess club and whatnot. They get to learn chess. It's a great game to learn. It teaches you how to think, and I'm sure there's a lot of benefits. But you also get to interact with other kids. Maybe attend tournaments. I think that'd be great for the kids, for sure. STEM clubs, so robotics, coding, or science clubs. For example, National Math Clubs for grades 6 to 8. They offer hands-on learning and teamwork. So if I discover that one of my kids is into one of the STEM fields, that can be something I can integrate them into. There's journalism or writing clubs, Quill and Scroll Club for high school journalists or local writing workshops. I like to write, maybe not journalism, but if one of my kids picks up on my interest in writing, for example, they want to write as well, I can enroll them into writing clubs. Then there's debate and speech. National Christian Forensic and Communication Association offers opportunities for homeschoolers to develop public speaking skills. I'm sure there's a bunch of public speaking associations and debate clubs and whatnot they can join. I did debating in high school. I did public speaking mainly. I won awards for public speaking. I was pretty good at public speaking and would compete with other schools and stuff. And I used to do well in that, and I enjoyed it. So I think that's a valuable skill to teach my kids as well, public speaking. So I might actually make them do that. And that might be scary for some of them if they're very shy. But I think they'll value the lessons learned. Even if they don't become the best public speakers, I think they'll value the experience and the skills they pick up from those environments. So that's definitely something. And debate clubs as well, teach them how to reason, how to think. And then there's arts and creative clubs. So there's art, music, and theater. So local programs like Oakland Homeschool Music offer choir, band, and vocal ensembles. Theater groups like All the World's A Stage provide performance opportunities. Then there's dance and gymnastics. Various studios offer classes for fun or competitive levels, fostering teamwork and physical activity. Then there's hobby-based clubs, so like Lego clubs, often hosted at libraries or community centers. Book clubs, you can find these in libraries or homeschool groups like Treehouse Book Club, which host discussions for kids. And then there's gaming clubs, so video game or board game clubs. For example, Dungeons and Dragons connect kids with similar interests. I actually was like, here in Johannesburg, there's a like a, I think it's bi-weekly, or we haven't gone in a while. But there was a place I used to go to where they have tournaments for games, with like a lot of fighting games and stuff. It was like at this gaming store, but they had like a room where they would host, and it like a weekly thing. We shop, you bring your own consoles and monitors, and anyone can show up if they want, and you can just participate. It was free. So you could just come and just like watch people play games or play games yourself. It's actually very easy to meet people and play games with them. So I think that'd be a great way, like, to introduce my kids to games and all that sort of stuff if they want that. I'd want to play games with my kids as well. Show them my favorite games. Show them the classics that I enjoyed when I was younger. And then whoever's into it can get into it further if they want. Yeah, there's all sorts of gaming clubs that you can enjoy your kids in. You know, there's professional gaming now. So you all my kids to be a professional gamer. I don't know. But anyway, there's so many clubs, so many societies you can roll your kid into, where they can meet other children and have fun. Yeah, just develop great skills without a lot of the negative aspects of the rigid school structure. So I'm gonna be looking into all of it, and that's part of the reason why it's so important to pick wisely where I move, because you want an environment that gives you as much access to all this stuff as possible. The USA is great at that. There's so many places you can go where you can find a whole bunch of this stuff. I'll have to look into South Africa and what it offers. But I can't just move anywhere. I talked about Japan and how Japan homeschooling is illegal, straight up. They'll say, "Oh no, it's not illegal. You can do this." You have to enroll your kid into school. You can't just homeschool your kid in Japan. South Korea is even worse. But with Japan in particular, you can't just homeschool your kids. They have to be part of some school, even if it's part-time, and then you homeschool your kids sometimes and whatnot. Like it's like it doesn't count. Like if I decide I don't want my kid to be part of the formal school structure, I'm gonna pay fines, and if I keep doing it, I'll probably go to jail. So yeah, I feel like that rules out Japan for me in terms of raising a family there, because it's so important that I can do this with my children. You never know what the future holds, but yeah, I really want to homeschool my kids, man. That's so important to me. But yeah, like I said, there's so many opportunities to socialize them in various ways. I think I'll definitely put them in some public speaking clubs, just so they learn that. It can be scary, but once you get over that fear, it's such a rewarding thing, such a rewarding skill to learn, and it just gives you so much confidence and a lot. I think public speaking isn't it the biggest phobia that people have? Is public speaking the biggest fear most people have? Public speaking is often cited as a top fear, but it's not necessarily the biggest fear for most people. Surveys like those from Chapman University and Gallup typically show fears like death, height, snakes, or financial insecurity ranking higher plus public speaking. Let me say, is it the most common fear? Maybe I phrase it wrong. Is it the most common fear? So it's not the most common. Pete, like the fear of reptiles is actually stronger than the fear of public speaking. And the fear of heights is stronger than the fear of public speaking. But according to Chapman University of American Fears. What? University of American Fears, is that a real thing? Anyway, the point is that there are a lot of people that are afraid of public speaking. It's a very common fear. And I want my kids to overcome it. I think that would be a valuable skill to pass on to them, the ability to speak in large rooms and whatnot without tensing up. I did that a lot in high school, and I did it well, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, a lot to consider in terms of how we're going to go about this. But yeah, I'll also discuss these things with my wife when the time comes, like how we're going to do this, where should we send them, yada yada yada. And you know, the beautiful thing is each child is unique, so you also learn the children, you study them and figure out their strengths and weaknesses and what clubs and programs you want to enroll them in based on their personality and preferences as well. So it's not cookie cutter, it's very malleable and dynamic. So we'll see when the time comes who's going to be doing what. But yeah, most important is that the sibling bonds are strong, thriving, and then everything can follow afterwards. Yeah, and then eventually they'll meet like romantic partners and get married, and they'll just be well integrated. I think they'll have strong bonds with each other, strong bonds with their spouses. They'll have their own children eventually. They'll be great. They'll be fine. They'll be great, and oh my gosh, I can't wait for them to have their own kids, and I'm going to encourage them to have many kids themselves. I'm going to tell them straight up, y'all better have big families like this one. And I think it's important that they have a positive experience with a big family, so they'll be a part of a big family. And I want them to enjoy that experience so that they want it for themselves. And then they're going to give me so many grandbabies. Because if you have like 5+ kids and then they have 5+ kids as well, oh my god, how many grandchildren am I going to have? Oh my gosh, bro. Oh, so many. I'm looking forward to it. Why don't people want this? I don't get it. It sounds like a dream to me. It sounds amazing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, imagine those family gatherings, bro. Crazy. And it's so beautiful if all the siblings get along and they have all these children and the children get along, and guys, it can really be something to. I have to work hard to make sure I get that right. If I get it right, it'll be a beautiful, beautiful family. Anyway, it's time for me to exercise now. Oh, yeah. Let's get it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Things make you whole and unique and time and towards peace, respect, purpose, thank you for blessing this person. Wonderful people in life who love you, take care of them, the absolute best of them. So the day to do the same thing, being from blessing this person. Love and marriage and blessing. And sustaining the love and marriage and making very, very happy things for blessing this person with their spirit of gratitude so they can give thanks for the wonderful things in their life. And by giving thanks, they can find peace, contentment, and attract even more blessings. Let your parents be found in this precious life, so let your God, let your will, let your love them, and you're always going to be there for them. Good health, long life, and happiness for this person who really care about your mind and everything.